Hi, I'm Lango, and this is InvestorPlace Quick Picks, where we communicate to you some of the market's best investment ideas in just 5 minutes. Today, we're going to be talking about a red-hot solar stock, the name Sunworks, ticker SUNW. Now, solar stocks have been absolutely on fire. They've been all the rage on Wall Street in 2020. Year to date, the Invesco Solar ETF, ticker TAN, is up 130%. It's back at levels not seen since 2011. In this red hot market, Sunworks stock has been a shining star. It's up 130% over the past 3 months alone. Of course, these meteoric rallies beg 2 questions. 1, is it legit? Is this solar stock breakout the real deal? And 2, if so, is Sunworks stock a good way to play the solar energy megatrend? In short, yes, the solar stock breakout in 2020 is the real deal. Indeed, it's the start of a much bigger, much longer uptrend in solar stocks. And 2, yeah, Sunworks stock is an explosive and compelling way to play the solar energy megatrend. Here's why. Now, I get it. Solar has had a bunch of false starts in the past, but this is not one of them. This time is different, and it's different because never before in the history of solar have we had so many trends shift in favor of solar energy adoption. Okay, 1, you have government support. Governments across the country are supporting more robust uptake of solar energy. Pretty much every developed country in the planet has a 100% clean energy target in place by 2030, 2040, 2050, somewhere in there. Beyond government support, you have economic support. For years, solar was super expensive, not anymore. Over the past decade, solar energy costs have dropped 70% to the point where today, solar energy isn't just the cheapest electricity in the world, it's the cheapest electricity in the history of electricity. Never has electricity been so cheap as solar is today. So you have huge economic support for adoption of solar. Number 3, you have technological support. So the technology behind solar has been limited for several decades. Right before, there was no storage. It was just capture. So if the sun was shining, you had great power, and if the sun wasn't shining, you had no power. But today, companies have developed robust storage solutions so that when you have a super sunny day, it's gonna store excess power, so when it doesn't shine, you still have power to power your home. It is said that by 2025, more than a quarter of solar panels in the US will be accompanied by storage solutions. So now the storage problem, it's fixed. And then 4th, last but not least, you have consumer interest support. Consumers, we're concerned about saving the environment. We're concerned about global warming. We want to do what we can to help in this fight against climate change. So we're adopting solar panels. We're buying electric cars. We're adopting solar panels. We're doing these things because guess what? The economics are there. The government support is there. The tax breaks are there. The technology is there. So because all that's there, it's easy for our interest to turn into action, and that's exactly what's happening. So no, this is not a false start in solar. This is the beginning of solar going from a niche afterthought energy production source today to the holy grail by 2035, 2040. It will be the largest energy source by 2040, and it's only gonna get bigger and bigger and bigger thereafter. So Sunworks stock is an interesting play in the solar energy space because at first glance, it doesn't look like a buy. Sunworks is a small $45 million construction company based in California that has chosen to specialize in solar panel installation. Sounds like a decent business, but the numbers simply have not been there to support the business over the past 3 to 4 years. A stretch in which revenues have consistently declined, margins have consistently eroded, losses have piled up. The balance sheet, which was once flush with cash, is now cash strapped. Just a really ugly situation. And as a result, Sunworks stock used to be a $25 stock, it fell to 29 cents earlier this year. So I mean, outside looking in, it's a really, really bad situation. Why would you buy this stock? Well, because it increasingly appears that Sunworks is in the first inning of a major rebound. 4 big things have changed over the past year, and when tied together, those things paint a crystal clear picture of a struggling solar panel installer that's in the first inning of an enormous rebound. So the first thing is that solar costs have finally dropped below traditional legacy energy costs in 2020. And as a result, you're seeing booming demand for solar. Solar install capacity actually dropped 12% between 2016 and 2019. But in 2020, you're getting a 37% rise. The fact that the economic drivers are now in place, that economics are now powering this market, not tax breaks and not just for the goodness of your heart. Economics are a much more powerful and enduring driver. Well, that implies that this 37% install capacity growth in 2020, that's here to stay. You're gonna see 20% plus growth in this market, 2021, 2022, all the way to 2025, 2030, and that's gonna be a rising tide which lifts all boats, including Sunworks. The second big change is that California enacted legislation where post-2020, all new home construction has to be built with solar panels. And that's big because Sunworks, they are based in California. California is basically their entire business. It's their core market, and they have good relationships with home builders. All these home builders, now they have to build with solar panels. They're going to look for a bunch of solar panel installers. Sunworks is one of the biggest players in that market. That's a winning recipe for Sunworks to install a lot of solar panels on a lot of new homes in California over the next 2, 3, 4, 5, upwards of 10 years. The third big change is that Sunworks is starting to win a lot of new business. Management just announced that in the third quarter alone, the company signed $10 million worth of commercial and agricultural contracts. That's a big number for a $45 million company. Now, what's even more impressive is that in the last week of the quarter, Sunworks signed $3.6 million worth of contracts. And in the first week of October, management said that they have another 2 big new contracts coming online. When you add it all up, Sunworks has tremendous business momentum today, enough to materially move the needle for this $45 million company. The fourth big change is that Sunworks scored an acquisition offer from the Pet Company, which is another solar installer that is basically Sunworks' twin in the Northeast. That's important because if these two companies do end up merging, it's an all-stock acquisition. If they do end up merging, they're going to produce tremendous cost-saving synergies because they are largely identical companies. You can cut out a lot of overlapping costs, a lot of overlapping jobs, a lot of overlapping labor. And in doing so, you'll create a combined entity with significantly superior profit margins. That means more profits at scale, and as go profits, so go stocks. Sunworks stock will not be an exception to that trend. Big picture, it looks like Sunworks, beaten up, depressed, struggling solar panel installer, really is in the first inning of a major turnaround in the solar energy market. That major turnaround could see this stock rise by several 100% from its current levels because, again, this is only a $45 million company. Many of Sunworks' peers are trading at multi-billion-dollar valuations, so the upside potential, it's enormous. Yes, it's not risk-free. It's definitely a high-risk play. I'm not saying jump into it, but if you have an appetite for risk, if you're looking for big returns, if you're bullish on solar, Sunworks stock, great place to look. Well, that's all we have for this edition of InvestorPlace Quick Picks. I hope you like what you saw. If you did, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, smash the like button, or if you like to read, come over and visit us at InvestorPlace.com where we have some of the market's best analysis. Until next time, cheers and happy investing to all.